everybody, Hutchface here again. This will be my best class setup video for the AE4, the new gun in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Well, let's go. Alright guys, here's my class setup. I'm going to leave it on screen here for a second and we'll jump into some gameplay. Alright, this game is Domination, obviously. I'm using the AE4 Widowmaker. That is the one that I prefer over the original AE4. The DLC gun comes with two different weapons, and as you can see in my class setup, I am using the Widowmaker. Essentially, it ups the accuracy by 1, the Widowmaker does. So I actually prefer to use that because this gun's accuracy, while it is good on stats, when you're aiming down range, it doesn't feel as strong as the stats say that it is. So I like to have as much accuracy as I can possibly get with this. I think it drops the damage by 1, if I'm not mistaken, but that's okay. If you're on point with your shots, getting, chest, head shots, right in that area, you're going to be fine with that damage loss. Yeah, overall, a great gun. I think they kind of did the same thing they did with Ghost when they released the Ripper. They kind of made it an assault/SMG gun. I know they didn't say that in the release of the gun, but that's the way it feels to me because up close, this gun is awesome. It's super accurate. It's quick. Obviously, not having to reload is a great thing. The only thing is that the gun will overheat, and you will have to put in a new energy charge, or whatever they're calling it in this game. But that's with all the energy weapons in this game, I'm pretty sure. I don't really use them that much, so not 100% on that. Yeah, not having to reload is great, so if you can put a few rounds into somebody and then back off, let the gun cool down. It does cool down very quickly, a lot quicker than I thought it would. You'll be fine, and you won't need to have perks like Scavenger, for instance. I left that off of this class because it's unnecessary, which frees up that additional third slot for something a little bit more handy. I will say that the iron sights for this gun and the hip fire for this gun are not very good. The hip fire especially. I guess the iron sights, if you got used to it, it might benefit you a little bit just knowing that you can have that extra slot for some things that I'm about to talk about, but for the most part, I like to steer away from the iron sights on this gun. It's a little bit confusing. It throws me off personally. So we'll jump into some other gameplay right here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now, the difference between having iron sights and no iron sights, as you can see right here, when you aim in with this red dot sight, it's right on the dot. You know what I'm saying? It's right there, fires exactly where you think it's going to go, and everything's fine. Now, if you notice, you're getting about 15 shots or so for each clip. Now, if you switch over to the other one, you notice that it doesn't shoot right where that little length of metal comes up to the center point. It's actually in between those three pieces, so you have to actually line up your shot without having physical dot there. It's kind of just free floating in the middle. Now, you will notice that I put it on heat sink with this gun, on this one, and with that heat sink on, it allows you to get about 20 or 21 shots, somewhere around in there. I don't know the exact number, but it's somewhere in there. So it's a little bit better than just having it without the heat sink on, and that's another important attachment I would like to talk about. I don't run with the heat sink on because of two reasons. One, it takes up the slot and doesn't allow me to have that red dot sight with the foregrip and quick draw, which are essential to this gun. And two, because if you're tactical about it and on point with your shots, you won't need to burst those entire 20 rounds out to get a kill if you're accurate. Now, if you find yourself swaying a lot with this gun, not hitting accurate shots with this gun, then yeah, you might want to put the heat sink on, give the iron sights a try, or drop quick draw and put the red dot sight on to make yourself a little bit more accurate. You will lose the quick draw, obviously, but you will gain the heat sink ability, therefore letting you have more ammo. I don't think it's that essential, to be quite honest with you, and I could do without it. But I have noticed there's been a few times where I'd get up against a group of maybe 2, 3, 4 people that I could see in my field of view, and I would take shots, run out of ammo, or well, run out of heat, I guess. It would overheat, and then I would be out of luck, and I would have to put in another, whatever they're calling that energy core thing. And the reload or restock or cooldown or whatever you want to call it, it does take a while. It's about on the same playing field as the IMR. As far as reload goes, it's about the same time. So you might want to keep that in mind. Now, on my class setup, I do run UAV with speed on, as usual. System hack, I've turned over to the flash on the system hack because it's very handy. The flash lasts a pretty good amount of time, so it's like a flash grenade for the whole team. And then I use the Warbird. I've been using that setup for a lot of my AR classes lately because it's a really good setup. You can get really high kills, go on long streaks. You know, it's all pretty good. And then I do lightweight. What's that thing called? Peripherals. Sorry, it's kind of distracting hearing these guys talk in the background. I forgot to mute all the mics, but and then, like I said, since you don't have to reload, you don't need scavenger on this class, so you can just put toughness and blast suppression, keep yourself invisible with your boost jumping and all that stuff, and you can also have the better shot on people with toughness. You don't have to sacrifice anything. That's the beauty about this gun. The drawback is all the things I previously stated with the sights, the attachments being you have to sacrifice for, you know, different things. I've tried it a few different ways, and this is what I find the best. So there you go, and now we'll talk about something else that I just figured out today. Okay guys, I was playing a little bit more today, trying to just get used to the gun and everything. I got to 300 kills, which is the marksman challenge, and I unlocked the AE4 Venom, which, as you can read there, says this is unlocked with DLC. I obviously have the DLC, but what I'm assuming is it's going to be released whenever the Mayhem DLC drops for the new maps in January. I have not seen any tweets or information from the developers on if this gun is available yet, and if it's a glitch, or if it's going to be available in January when the rest drops. So if you have any ideas, message me on YouTube. Hutchface out.